Welcome to T.D.T Talk, where we tell you
the damn truth.
Welcome to the truth, where the truth don't lie.
All right. Y'all, look, welcome to the truth where the truth don't lie. Hey, y'all, look, let us know who is with us. Hey, Rachel, thank you for joining us tonight. Everybody, y'all come on in the room. Let us know who is here. We have an exciting topic to talk about, a very serious topic to talk about. But first, co-host, how you doing?
Girl, look. I gotta give a praise report because see, the God that I serve, Isaac, Jacob, and that Billy Goat, man, he an on time God. He an on time God because my business is thriving. It is thriving. And, I just got to give my praise report because, some people try to count you out in life. Some people will secretly hate behind your back because of your potential. And sometimes, y'all, we got to walk out on faith. We have got to put faith in something other than ourselves because girl, you look like you just got hit with flour. Girl, it was bright as hell. I'm over here trying to give a praise report and affirmations, and your face was white as hell. I was like, you could mess me all the way up. I couldn't even finish my sentence. But y'all, yeah, sometimes. Sure. I'm not starting these shenanigans with you first thing on this Good Friday evening. And I got a drink in my cup, and you ain't gonna mess with me today.
And a two-step, a drink, and a two-step. Is that how I got
A drink in my yes. Hey,
I'm drinking agua, y'all. We got water over here.
Just when I
look,
y'all,
the praise. Congratulations, co-host. I am excited that you finally went on and stepped out on faith, and you will see all the seeds that you have been planting. It is time for your harvest. It is time.
It is, and I am just grateful. But y'all, can we extend a hand to Sharon? I thought she was finally gonna be on agreement of grown people, and the good book says, "When two or three are gathered in His name, so shall He appear." Y'all, I got a whole adult drink, and this half a drinking water. I need
to hydrate.
That's what liquor do. Liquor hydrates.
Okay, that was you. All right.
It hydrates.
Are you ready? Look, y'all make sure you invite your friends. Let's go ahead and get this popping. Co-host, sorry. Welcome to T.D.T Talk, where we tell you
the damn truth about karma and trauma.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So because this topic is so heavy, we always do a disclaimer, but this is a please take heed to this disclaimer because tonight we are definitely going to talk about things that could be triggering. If you feel like you are triggered in any way, please contact us. Let us know. We do have other therapists that we can refer you to get you the help that you need.
Yes,
all right.
Lord.
All right. So, Carl, we are talking about trauma tonight, but I just saw an update. I've been following the Alicia Watts case.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you saw the update, but they did find her body.
Okay. No, I did not.
Yeah. So Alicia Watts, she is the girl that went missing in mid-July. She went to Charlotte to visit her boyfriend, and they were going to a comedy show or something like that. And she didn't show up to work like 2-3 days later. And they have been searching for her. They searched his home. He was actually found in the backseat of her vehicle in a whole nother city somewhere, like kind of like passed out or whatever. And then we didn't hear anything after that until I think a couple of days ago. Found the body, and then today they arrested him. Or either
wow.
All this kind of happened over the last 24 hours, I do believe. But here's the thing. So I do want to kind of touch on this really quick because I do believe I am going to do more stuff about domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
because I believe we are slipping out here in these streets.
Mm-hmm.
More and more of these type of things are happening, where our young Black women are being murdered, um,
Mm-hmm.
beat to death or whatever that is, right? So we have to be more vigilant. One thing about the case that just kind of brought questions up for me was that the neighbor of the guy's neighbor,
Mm-hmm.
actually a family member of hers, and we don't know how close they were. And this is just from the news reportings. So they said it was a neighbor who was actually her cousin. Her cousin saw her vehicle there and knew that they were dating and everything. But the cousin on the news was saying how, although she lived in the same area as him, same street, I do believe, if not right next door, I believe the same street. She didn't know him. He was quiet. And she said you had to know him in order to know him. He didn't have a social media presence. He didn't
Mm-hmm.
talk much, things like that. And my thing is this, and also her friends, when they were doing press conferences, they didn't seem to know anything about him either. And it was reported
Mm-hmm.
that they were dating for like a year, almost a year, or something like that. Um, that's a long time for your family and friends to not know anything about the person that you're dating.
Yeah.
Fuck being quiet. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, it's not about he's quiet. He doesn't like to talk, or, we begin to make excuses for these weird
Mm-hmm.
behaviors of these men that we do encounter. And
Mm-hmm.
stop doing that. We can't be so desperate for a man. I'm not saying that she was, but some women are. But we can't
Mm-hmm.
be so pressed to have a man that will settle for any man. We ignore the red flags, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just imagining, were there any red flags over that amount of time? I
Mm-hmm.
know when I began to date a stranger, I'm looking for all the red flags. I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking at your left eye to see if it's a little crooked, because then I know.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm looking, I'm checking, I'm doing background checks. Oh, I've been doing background checks since the 90s when it was free.
Mm-hmm.
My girls do background checks. My friends,
Mm-hmm.
my family, somebody else is checking for me, especially when I'm in the middle of it, the thick of it, and I can't see anything but how much I love this person.
Mm-hmm.
I still do things that keep me safe, like drop my location. I'm gonna be here
Mm-hmm.
2 hours. I'm gonna text you, you text me, let you know everything is good.
That
We
part.
have to do these things, and it sounds like this was such a mystery to everyone who knew her, or to
Mm-hmm.
friends that presented on the news. This was such a mystery to them. But what we found out through the media, who within like a week found out that, and they have their sources, right? They can get information.
Mm-hmm.
They found out that just in May, 2 months prior, he had charges for assault on someone in Durham County.
Mm-hmm.
And then I believe it was maybe 15 years ago or something, he did 5 years in jail for assaulting another woman and
Mm-hmm.
15 years probation. Do you know they don't even give you that much when you kill somebody, depending on who you kill and how you kill them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Circumstances are surrounding it. Do you know how bad
Mm-hmm.
he had to beat that lady to get that type of time?
Mm-hmm. Well, they probably got him off on a technicality if it was his first offense, and
First time
you
he got,
know, yeah.
yeah, first time he got caught. And I'm trying to remember, I think that was a whole nother case, because I've been watching a lot of these cases. This is something that's happening quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same story every single time, where maybe the first person that this happened to didn't speak out, because I can imagine there were others. It wasn't just
Mm-hmm.
ladies where he got caught. There were
Mm-hmm.
others. But sometimes we get embarrassed and we're ashamed because maybe we didn't pay attention to the red flags, or, we try to brush it off. And, when our spidey sense went off, we didn't really take it seriously because we were having fun.
Mm-hmm.
We were in love, whatever that looks like. But what I encourage us to do is to get in your friend's business. Okay. That's why we have you. Get in our business. Ask questions. And when I can't give you the answer to certain stuff, question me. Remind me of stories like this and ask me if I'm sure. Any man that I am dating for any amount of time, first of all, if I'm dating you, we boyfriend, girlfriend, right? I'm sorry, you got to go before a council of people. You're going to have to trick a lot of people before you come out a year later, or whatever that looks like for this guy that he got charged with right there in May. It was choked. He choked her and a whole bunch of other stuff. It was crazy. Told her that he was going to kill her, was sending her like stuff to let her know that he knew exactly where she was, like he was tracking her location. All this time, he's dating Miss Watts. Like, and they lived in different cities, right? So I don't distance, right? I don't have my eyes on you all the time. I can't, we just hanging out and all I see is the fun. All I know is the fun. Because we're not living our day-to-day lives together. But this is where the neighbor next door, my cousin, needs to be in business. This is where other people need to be checking your social media. And why in 2023 you won't have no social media? None.
I know a few that don't have none, but it's probably best that they don't.
But you ain't gonna be quiet and you ain't got no friends, and you're gonna show me some red flags probably about within the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, definitely.
About this situation, right? Right. We need to be more vigilant and protective of ourselves and of our friends and of our families, because this domestic violence thing is happening way too often. And it's, Carl, you sent me a video today, right before the show. Black lady, black man, right? About the black love. We all about the black love, In all of these cases, I'm seeing is this black couples. And if I'm supposed to be able to trust you, to be able to follow you, right? Because you want to lead, right? I need to trust that you ain't going to try to unalive me. Because you crazy and probably hadn't dealt with your past traumas. So let's go ahead and get into what it looks like when we don't deal with the things that we go through in our lives.
Yeah. All right. I'm ready. So let's get to some of these comments because we have people coming in. So Rocky Leo, welcome. LaSwain, what to do, bro? I was a little fearful that you wasn't gonna join in. Got my baby on the line. What to do, boo? Hey, Miss Donna. My cousin is on watching us too. All right. And then Shell was agreeing there probably was, but nobody noticed them regarding the red flags. And then LaSwain was saying, do you consider it a red flag if they don't have social media? So, yeah, you want to answer it first or you want me to?
Well, I'm going to answer it real quick. So if you don't have any social media, then that tells me that I need to do more digging so I can find out more stuff about you. Okay, so I can't go back the 10 years you done had Facebook and see what you're doing or whatever that looks like. I am going to do some investigation some kind of way. So that's, if you don't have social media, I'm going to check your age, but we talk about people our age, right? It's like 39. I don't know how old he is, but still, he wasn't 65. My daddy got Facebook. Okay. My daddy said
that part.
Got Facebook. Okay. So it's not so much a red flag, but it's definitely a yellow one.
And I would second that. I do believe, even if you're not active, I can honestly say that when I first, when I was younger and Facebook was real Poppington, like I did, have a presence. But, we're always evolving. We're always growing. And now I just find myself either dropping stuff regarding my son or T.D.T. Like, that's really what my social media is for. So I feel like if you ain't got some form of presence on the media, like you said, that is a cautionary flag. We ain't gonna say a red flag, but we will say cautionary, only because You know, does this individual got a baby mama, a baby daddy, or around the corner? Is this individual wanted in several states? Like, this lets me know, because you know there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there, a lot of different things to consider. But if they don't, I want to meet your mama. We ain't gonna chill until, you know, it'll be me, you, two of my cousins, and you know, if I were in the dating pool, I'd bring my sisters and my cousins, people I know that can fight, you know, just in case. Because I've told y'all before, my hands are bisexual. I will slap a female quickly. I will. I just want to let you know. My mama said, you know, do unto others as you have them do unto you. And if you feel as a female you have 10 inches and you think you bigger than me, I'm gonna show you that you're not. So yeah, you know, sometimes you just have to think ahead. Me personally. So we have Jessica. She said people just didn't want to get in their business. That's true, but sometimes you can be in people's business, but from a distance. Sometimes, you know. Shell says she believes it's a red flag, and then Swain was saying society pushes you to that type of thinking. Yeah, I mean, we can agree to disagree, but a lot of people, you know, this day and age, you can't trust too many people. You can't trust them.
Yeah,
Rocky Lee, you said what?
you got to be careful. You do.
Very, very. Rocky Leo said, I did some ratchet stuff back in the day. I'm glad I didn't have social media until I was 25. Yeah, you know, Rocky Leo. Rocky
Rocky.
Leo was, you know, she might have been on Girls Gone Wild, you know.
Rocky.
Sharon shut down Freak Meat.
I knew you was gonna
No,
say it. I knew. See,
two
I couldn't
peas in a pod.
myself. I knew you was gonna say it. But Rocky, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Look, Black College Weekend, Miami. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We're gonna keep moving.
See,
Keep moving.
see, two peas in a pod. Jessica said, "What if you knew them your whole life, basically?" I would definitely say that you can know somebody your whole life, but you don't know their seasons of transition. You don't know what that looks like. Everybody is constantly growing, everybody is constantly evolving, and some of them are digressing. Just being honest, not everybody's growth pushes them forward. Some people's growth can reduce them if they're not dealing with the trauma, which is some of the stuff we'll be talking about tonight.
Yeah,
Swain, oh, go ahead.
and to that one, I was gonna say, because as a trauma trained therapist, I work with a lot of people who have been harmed by other people, right?
Hmm.
And we have those situations more often than not when it is someone that they have literally known their entire lives, their family, they're integrated into their family. You know, that's Uncle Pete. Everybody know Uncle Pete.
Hmm.
You know, it's that person. But when we start to peel back those layers and we start to remember some things and we start to really think critically about it every single time, 100% of the time,
Hmm.
began to remember that was weird.
Hmm.
I remember such and such started talking, but they shut up real quick.
Yeah.
Or I overheard a little piece of that. I didn't quite know what they meant, but I thought it was strange. Those are
Hmm.
flags. Those are the things that we don't pay attention to.
See, Swain, you're causing controversy, but I love it because it makes you think. So before we get to yours, Shell said it is a red flag because what you hide in. So then Swain was asking before that, so having a social media helps you trust. Hell no, social media don't have me help me trust you. But what social media does do for an individual like me that like to sit back and have a nice drink on a Friday evening, it led me to start to investigate your pictures. Now, in the first three pictures, you had a lazy eye, and then you had three gun pictures. Now,
Yeah.
in them three gun pictures, now you done had 27 posts of you holding a big stack of cash. Now you got a video of we rolling in the cut. Now you just asked me last week, could you borrow my car? And did I have $1.25 for the bus? Now, how did you get? See, no, social media don't help me trust, but what social media will do is help me put them puzzle pieces together because people lie. People lie.
Absolutely. What also what's so social media does. It's going to show me who you connected to, and I'm going to check them people out too. I'm checking conversations. I'm checking everything. I'm checking the backgrounds in your pictures. I'm going to click on your picture and hold it to see if it's live. Don't play with don't play with me when it comes to investigating. So yeah.
Okay. Look, all right, Jessica, I got you, cousin. So he said social media wasn't around back then. LOL. Stop being lazy and go and meet their family and find out who they are. And I cannot agree with you more, Swain. We had a show maybe 2 years ago, and we were talking about social media and dating apps. And it really took away that ability to connect with people because you can swipe left or right if you're trying to smash. If I give you a bunch of hearts, now I validated your self-worth. Not even your self-worth. I've now validated and created your worth on a social media platform. And we don't know people mamas. I want to know, does your mama have a birth defect? If we were to have kids, is they gonna have a big ass head, big old feet, body odor? Is them people in your family dumb and you over here trying to justify it as they just touched? No, baby, that
what kind of dumb?
That dumb. Just it's like when you got a trip right when you get ready to trip, stumble, and fall, dumb. It has levels to it. I just need to know. Is do y'all got moles? And I need to see your face. And if your mama ugly and she only 34, 47, this may not work for us, is all I'm saying. May not work for us. Jessica said, ain't that the truth? Donna, who your people? That includes their grandparents. I want to know, did they die by natural causes?
We need to know. Yeah.
All of it. And Desiree, hey, hello. All right, look, y'all. Look, because y'all got the comments popping, and y'all know I love a good comment section. But we got to get into today's episodes because a lot of y'all is living trife. Y'all living trifling. Just downright deplorable. And we are here to help change your point of view. Brought to you by T.D.T. Didn't that sound like a commercial?
It did, but it's a setup, y'all. Carl is here for the shits and giggles today. This is going to be educational and funny at the same time. And my piece is a little bit serious, so I don't know if I should go first.
Hell no, we're going to save you for last. Because the last time you did that, you hit us with so much damn seriousness, I couldn't even bounce back on your level. Hell no. Nah, we good.
You know what? Sometimes.
Hell no.
You make it so difficult sometimes.
But I love you.
You make it hard, though.
No, because you're going to be able to interject. But no, hell no. You ain't about to hit us with the damn thesaurus, and then I got to buckle up with some stuff I done found and know.
Speaking of thesaurus, ladies, look, go out and get you one of these, okay? The DSM-5, okay? Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, okay? This is how you find out some of them little weird things, or what was that he did. Get you one of these here, okay? And it's going to tell you what these symptoms you seeing mean, okay? And if it's all you need is like 3 out of 5 for most of them.
I do not agree with that.
You got
I do not agree.
About 6 out of 10, because it's more than that. But that's all you need to know that you got a problem on your hands, ladies. DSM-5. All right, go ahead, Carl.
I'm not dealing with you. Y'all, I just want to support that. I do not agree with that. Hell no. A lot of y'all already sneeze once and your big toe start itching, and now you on WebMD and you think you a doctor. Don't go get the DSM-5. Do not. All right. So, Sharon, what is your definition of trauma? What is trauma?
So trauma trauma is broad, right? So we can't put trauma in a box. Trauma is anything that causes you to feel afraid, where you feel like you are going to lose your life, or could lose your life, or could be injured very, very, very seriously. So that can be a range of things. It could be a dog chasing you, but based on how I felt about it, a dog chase you, Carl, you might just run and dip and you're okay. But if a dog chased me, The
Shit,
visual.
if a dog chased me, I would be screaming like a white woman in a horror film. I don't fuck with dogs or the police. So, yeah, it's trauma, especially if
Okay.
my big ass fall. I'm gonna be
Oh,
pissed.
yeah. Okay. So don't fall for. Do not fall. Look,
Lord.
so for Carl, that would be a traumatic experience. You will probably have like flashbacks. You start having the symptoms, right? So then you have to have the symptoms that go along with it. Typically, when we think about trauma, some of the common things are sexual abuse, physical abuse, some type of violence, loss of a loved one. It can even be a natural disaster like Hurricane Katrina. That was horrific, for entire city of New Orleans, right? And beyond, I believe. So it just depends on how you view the situation. And then what type of symptoms are you having? Are you having flashbacks? Are you having nightmares? Are you triggered, by things? So something you see or something maybe you smell or something you hear, and it takes you back to that time and place. Was your stress response activated? Your fight, flight, or freeze? How do you feel? Do you feel anxious? Do you feel worried? Are you hyper vigilant? Some of these symptoms are going to, a lot of these symptoms are going to manifest when you experience something traumatic. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So you kind of went over all my stuff. So trauma is defined as an emotional response to a terrible event like an accident, rape, or natural disasters. So immediately after the event, shock and denial are typical. Long-term reactions include unpredictable emotions, flashbacks, strained relationships, and even physical symptoms like headaches or nausea. So everything Sharon said, that's literally the definition of what trauma is. So one thing that I thought was really interesting as I was doing my research and, wanting to...
Before you go there quickly, also, there's studies that show that for Black people, and I believe I may have said this before, that type of stress presents differently in our bodies, so that your knee has been aching for years. You've been to every doctor, they don't know there's nothing that they can find medically wrong with your knee. That could be that trauma that you never processed 10 years ago. So.
Yep, and I'm gonna get into that too. So research has suggests that 70% of the people in the world, not just the US, but in the world, 70% of the people will experience at least one traumatic event in their life. And I was like, okay, well, that's interesting. 70%.
Yeah.
70% of the world's population will experience at least, bare minimum, one. Be it directly, so that would be such as police officers, or indirectly, like Sharon and myself, we're therapists, so hearing people's stories can be very traumatic as well, especially if it resembles something that we ourselves may not have processed, may not even remember, and then in that session, we get triggered. So
that's called vicarious trauma, right? I'm a nerd, but I love this. So vicarious trauma, we can hear a story from our bestie and then we traumatized by it, right?
So love it. See, Sharon, I told you I was going to be able to bring you in with your knowledge today. Boo, buckle up. Trust me. All right, Sharon. So what is karma? Because this is going to be the comical portion. What is karma? Give me a good karma statement. Tell me you Black and the karma going to whoop that ass without telling me anything about karma.
Look, so karma, when Carl get chased by this dog and he fall, and I don't go to help him, but I'm on the ground passing out laughing. I'm rolling. All I can do is just laugh real hard. My side hurting. I'm laughing so hard. And then maybe the next day I fall, twist my ankle, and I'm on crutches. God dang.
Karma. So Jessica, the reason why I wanted you to see this video, we know each other, you family, you my cousin. And like Sharon said, I don't know if you were here in the beginning, but what we talk about may be triggering. And if you need to talk to somebody, please let us know. But on the same token, until you're able to identify your trauma, you can't heal from trauma. A lot of us try to suppress it And that's why I ran you by this video tonight, because I want to make sure you get to the point where you can begin to heal. So, nothing but love. Call me if you need me, boo. You got my number. So, according to the dictionary, or excuse me, not even the dictionary, according to Hinduism, they identify karma as a relationship between a person's mental or physical actions and the consequences following this action. It also signifies the consequences of all the actions of a person in their current and previous lives, and the chain of cause and effect is morality. So, baby, let me tell you, because karma a fickle thing, because I really believe that people don't realize what they've done in life. You know, some people believe that if you die, they're gonna turn into a frog or a butterfly. But have y'all ever had them moments where you be like, man, this is real familiar? Like, I feel like I've been here in this moment before. And I believe that to be true. And maybe even not you, but your ancestors. So if you're an asshole, just saying, and your daddy was an asshole, and then your granddaddy was an asshole, and then his grandpappy's third granddaddy was an asshole. Now that's a lineage of assholes. Now they died, and karma said, that's cool, you have a kid, we coming. And it just wait, and it bides its time. But see, you're gonna do something that is going to trigger karma and put that nice little alert. Oh, I have 4 generations of getting his ass back. Let's get it. Boom, bow. Karma gonna take care of you. What you do to me, especially if I'm not doing nothing to harm or hurt you, I don't got to do nothing, because karma, until you do right by me, everything you touch. It's real. So, the reason why I came up with this slogan, y'all, because I had Sharon weak when I told her what I wanted to come up with these names. But that's the title of the show, Trauma, Karma's Ghetto Ass Cousin. Because see, a lot of times we feel that karma will do the work for us. And it's true, karma will. Because God said it himself. If you're a Christian, if you have any type of spirituality or spiritual ties, we all know it says in the word, touch not thy anointed. It says that. So if I'm living my life unapologetically me, and I'm minding the business that pays me, and you are intentionally trying to hurt me, I don't need to do nothing, because karma's going to have my back.
Yes.
But the reason why we did this show is karma, we have a part to play with karma, and it's called trauma. Because what a lot of people fail to realize is when we have these traumatic events and we don't work on it and we suppress it, and then something else happens, it may not be like the initial trauma, but it has that residual effect of that trauma, and we're suppressing it, and we're suppressing it, and we're not thinking about it, because if I don't think about it, it never happened. If I don't focus on it, I'm not giving it the power. That is good affirmations to have, theoretically. But trauma is a ghetto ass cousin, because your body is going to start to react. Trauma's like, okay, I'm here. Oh, you don't hear me? I'm here. You knock. I'm still here. Oh no, I'm fine. Girl, I just had a bad day. I just felt frustrated. But we don't think anything of it. And that's when karma kicks in, and they just have a nice little picnic on your psyche, because one way or the other, your body is going to handle that trauma. It's going to force you to look at that trauma, be it willingly or subconsciously or unconsciously. You're going to deal with it. You're going to wake up and your body starts hurting. You're going to keep having continuous bad days. Certain smells, certain tastes, certain touches, certain interactions are going to make you boo-hoo cry, make you pissed off and fight, make you feel vulnerable, like you butt naked in front of your 9th grade class. That type of vulnerability. We all had that nightmare. But that's what karma and trauma do. If you don't handle it, trauma like, all right, karma, come on in. He or she needs to handle this, so come on in. So, Sharon, what's your thoughts with my analogies there? What you think? You agree or do you disagree?
Yeah. So when I think about trauma, sometimes oftentimes these experiences are so bad that we don't want to remember them. We want to avoid the thought of them at all costs. We want to act as if and believe that, or try to make ourselves believe that it never happened to us, right? So we repress, like you were saying, we repress these thoughts, right? This thing happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
I experienced it, but I don't want to think about it. So I'm going to avoid it and I'm going to repress it. So think about putting it in a box, where I'm going to put it in a box, put a lid on the box. It's over there. I don't have to deal with it. And I'm just going to ignore it, and then something else happens. Okay. What? Put it in the box too. It's not right here in the forefront of my brain. So I think I'm going to continue on and keep on going. And I'm going to put it in the box. Something else happens. I'm going to put it in the box. And I end up putting so much stuff in this box that at some point that box is going to explode all over everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to explode in a way that's going to be very emotionally overwhelming for you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is what you explain is exactly what happens. Whenever we experience something traumatic, it has happened to you. You can never unsee it. You can never unexperience it. And just because you wake up and I got through the day and I didn't think about it, or maybe I only thought about it for like a minute and then I shook it off. I'm good. I'm good. I can
Mm-hmm.
go. No, it doesn't work that way at all. Your brain, it's in your subconscious, it's there, and it's going to leak out. You know how a sponge can only hold but so much water? And then even a sponge
Mm-hmm.
will begin to like drip and drip,
Mm-hmm.
just a little drip at a
Causing
time.
a bigger mess.
Yeah, and it's that's what it's going to do. It's going to leak out like that every now and then until it eventually explodes, and it will.
And it does every time. And so, like Jessica, I'm seeing what you're saying. Trace Styles, 23andMe karma. Exactly. Jessica, you're saying that's exactly what I do. Don't think about it. Oh my God. Oh, this is why we're having this conversation. Within the Black community, and I can only speak on the Black community because y'all, guess what? Not white. So, in the Black community, we are taught to don't think about it. Like Jessica said, don't think about it. Let's not cause any focus. If we don't focus on it, it never exists. Just like our history, colonizers have embedded in our mind that if we don't think about it, it never happened. If we don't think about slavery, the last 510,000 years never existed. No, it did. It did. And we're going to acknowledge that it did. And that's the same when it comes to trauma. So, one thing I thought that was really interesting throughout this whole thing, huh?
Really quick, Carl, what about when we do have something traumatic that happens to us and we actually tell somebody that it happened, and then
Mm-hmm.
that person tells us, no, it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Go somewhere and sit down and be quiet. Don't say that no more.
Mm-hmm.
And we're stuck with holding this thing, right?
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna talk about that as well because that is traumatic. And in the Black homes, y'all know, me and Sharon have been saying since the start of T.D.T, we have got to break generational curses because the most damaging curse that has been placed on the Black family and the Black community is what happens in this house stays in this house. That is the one curse that continuously whoops our ass. And it don't matter how many times we get hit, we still want to keep the secret. We still don't want to tell about Uncle and his special playtime. We don't want to talk about our auntie who's being inappropriate with the 14-year-old boy that just started puberty. We don't want to talk about the older cousin that got you playing hide and go get it at the family cookout. That shit's not normal.
Yeah.
Children exploring their bodies with their friends, 9, 10, 12, 13, that's normal.
Uh-huh.
But your older cousin introducing an 8-year-old and this sucker is like 14, she's 15. That's not normal. Let's stop normalizing these deep, dark, rooted secrets in our homes and in our family because that individual wasn't the one that started it. If we follow the breadcrumbs, it's going to show that somebody did it to her or him, and then somebody did it to them, and then two of the uncles did it to that. It shows. So we need to really begin to dismantle that because there's a portion in our brain called the salience network. I may be saying it wrong, and if I am, I'm not a neurological doctor or scientist. I'm a therapist, and we don't talk about that shit. So research has observed that people with PTSD have less signaling between the hippocampus and the area of the brain which is an area of the brain responsible for emotions and memory. And then the salience network is a mechanism used for learning and survival. So when trauma comes into play, your brain is now absorbing that in the hippocampus for your memory, because that's going to give you your fight, flight, or freeze. And then that survival is going to come in, and that plays with the learning because now you've learned this behavior, and now it is a survival mode of how do I protect myself from not letting that happen again. So now your body is heightened with all of these emotions, and anything that resembles that specific trauma is going to hit what? That memory sector, trigger that memory. And now your emotions, that mechanism of your learning and emotions are now going to come into play. Am I going to still be the frightened little 8-year-old boy or girl? Or now that I'm 23, am I going to be that frightened little boy or girl? Or am I going to kill you? Because I vowed to myself that I would never let that happen again. Now you took me from my delusional mindset of this never happened. And we all know that old saying, opening Pandora's box. Now you just open Pandora's box, and now you don't know what your body is going to do.
Yeah.
This is why we need therapy. This is why we need to talk to people. This is why, as a community, we need to stop suffering in silence, because trauma is karma's ghetto ass cousin. If you don't deal with it, it's going to make you deal with it. And it's either going to be in a therapist chair, behind bars, or in the grave. But you're going to deal with trauma one way or the other.
Yeah.
All right, you got anything for me?
Well, look, I know you said you didn't want to see my video. I won't show y'all the video. But speaking to your point, there was a lady. Okay, so the Montgomery Brawl, y'all. The Montgomery Brawl for it all, right? Do you remember the blonde hair lady, the blonde hair crew member that threw the lady in the river? She did a post, I think, on Instagram. And I saw it on another influencer's page. And she was talking about how she was triggered that day. She kept calling the guy the deckhand or whatever he's called him. Sorry, the first mate. Damon. Kept calling him Damon, you know. That was, she said she viewed him as a nephew, you know, so they had a really close relationship. And when she saw them beating on him, she thought he was going to die. So that fear, right? I'm witnessing something and I believe someone that I love is going to die. So right there, that's trauma. That's trauma right there. And she was triggered. And then she went on to talk about how she had a rough week and she's been through a lot. But she said she thought he was going to die and she knew what it was like to lose someone. So I can imagine that maybe she had not processed the trauma of her loss. And she was triggered in that moment. And you're going to get triggered. But through therapy, you learn healthy coping skills to teach you how to handle your triggers. She didn't have coping skills. And that's how that lady got thrown in the river.
Toss that ass right in the damn Georgia River. And it's true. And so I'm loving that you said that.
If she hears this, I will write your letter and get you off.
Right. I'm glad that you said that because like I said, y'all, trauma is my niche. I really enjoy working with this specific portion. So as I was doing more research, and then I promise I'm gonna give you some time, Sharon, I came across an article that was really interesting. It was intergenerational trauma that still impacts the Black community today, written by Janice Asiri. And I said, okay, baby, let me find out. Let me find out because y'all, if you scroll back to a few videos not too long ago, I talked about and introduced the epigenetic gene. And y'all was coming for me. Y'all was asking questions. I had people hitting me up on the low, like, what is that? Is that a real thing? Baby, it's real. Just because the white man don't want to acknowledge it, research is showing that the epigenetic gene is very real. So one major consequence that she identified was the settler colonialism is the trauma that is passed down from generation to generation. So like you just shared with that lady, she was triggered and feared for someone that she identified as a nephew's life. Now, we don't know what she may have gone through 6 months ago, a year, her whole entire life. We don't know. But instinctually, when she saw that, she was triggered. And research is showing that this is true because what psychologists has labeled as intergenerational trauma, the American Psychological Association defines it as a phenomenon in which the descendants of a person who experienced a terrifying event shows adverse emotions and behavioral reactions to the event that are similar to those of the person for himself or herself. For Black Americans who's descended from enslaved people, the trauma that has been experienced by our ancestors have been passed down through our generations. So for some of us, our grandparents lived during the Civil War. For some of us, our great great grands were slaves.
Yeah.
We don't know why we don't like water. We don't know why we don't like dogs barking at us and their owner is holding holding the leash. It's a genetic trauma that has been trickled down. And like I told you, we're always evolving. So is trauma. Trauma evolves with each new generation. What we thought I wish somebody would call me an N-word. That trauma has evolved because now white folks is getting hit with metal chairs. Black boys is jumping in rivers and swimming across yonder seas, ripping off shirts, ready to whoop off in your forehead. The fact that the gentleman was so triggered by the amount of white people that jumped on the boardwalk that he got a metal chair and began to play with that woman's cerebral cortex like it was a whack-a-mole, that should let you know that Black people, we may be triggered, but now these triggers may get your ass whooped in yonder streets, church houses, restaurants. Name a location and trigger somebody if you want to. Your ass gonna get whooped in them streets.
But you just explained from a psychological perspective and research that has been done exactly why Black people, why we all, and some of our allies too, we watched it and we all felt it in a very similar way. We don't know each other. All Black people don't know each other, right? No, of course we don't. But we all shared in that traumatic experience watching it. And we all watched it with the exact same emotion because we all have that predisposition of epigenetics, is what you're talking about. We all had that predisposition of trauma on our chromosome.
Our DNA. So this research went even further, y'all, and I'm going to break it down to these three real quick so Sharon can talk. There are three important outcomes of intergenerational trauma that deserves further exploration, which we're going to talk about. I'm going to do my three. Sharon's going to interject because it really does make a sense. Black people, we love to look good. I don't give a damn if it's Payless, if it's I got it at Ross. Baby, when I step on the scene with my gangster lean, I'm looking fly. You heard me? When I get an outfit on and I know that I look like an all-down player from the Himalayas, baby, you can't tell me nothing. And when my hairdresser comes back to my location and braids my scalp, baby. You can't tell me that I don't look good. But one thing that has come into play is Black people's self-esteem. In the 1940s, there was a psychological research study that was done by Mamie and Kenneth Clark. And they conducted a study to identify why, if Black children were going to get the white dolls or if they was going to get the Black dolls. Well, in this study, it showed that them Black kids wanted the white doll. Why? Because they identified that as pretty. Society deemed that as acceptable. I'm not worth anything because my skin, my melanin is too dark. It's too rich. It's too vibrant. So from the dawn of time, we've been predisposed to hate our skin, not even our body, just our skin. So for many Black youths, especially those that derive in under-resourced communities, they've learned a sense of helplessness. May it be another consequence of intergenerational trauma, and it comes to show that it is. There's a perception that no matter what a person does, they cannot change their situation or condition. A person who feels learned helplessness, though frustrated, will stop trying to change their circumstances. So if you don't like me because of my skin, then, and this is all I'm hearing, that's my self-esteem. I have now had a worth placed on my self-esteem. And if it's low, it messes with Black people. Because if it's not one thing, baby, we gonna be fly. It don't matter how the texture of your hair, it doesn't matter what you wear. When we have that confidence, you can't tell us nothing. But society is telling us we're not beautiful. We're not worth, the Black doll. Go get that little blonde hair, blue-eyed thing, and that'll let you know. What's your thoughts on that one, Sharon? Do you agree or disagree?
I completely agree. I could not have stated that better myself.
Okay. So the next one is health outcomes. So racial battle fatigue is described as a social phenomenon in which a person who experiences chronic racial discrimination develop physiological and psychological and emotional strain due to excessive amounts of energy expanded on race-related stressors. Baby, can we say Ferguson? Can we say Breonna Taylor?
Yeah. I feel exhausted every time we have one of these big cases. Like I automatically just feel exhausted in my body. Yeah.
So now research has shown that racism is associated with many of the negative health outcomes. So there was a study done in 2010 that found Black women experience accelerated biological aging due to prolonged stressors. Research indicates that racism is associated with higher stress levels, which can increase the risk of high blood pressure. Y'all, how many of us have a auntie or cousin that got hypertension? How many of us have family members and it's genetic? Genetic. So they're even linking hypertension, which is a condition that affects a higher percentage of Black people. Higher percentage of Black people compared to other racial and ethnic groups. So racism could be one of the contributing factors. Loss of sleep. Black folks don't even get enough rest versus their counterparts because we have these physiological distresses that not only cause mental health issues, but it is literally breaking our body down.
Yeah.
Because of stress.
Yeah, I absolutely agree to an extent. So I don't believe that they are genetic, right? Because there has to be something on your DNA. There's a chromosome. There's something in your DNA that says that's high blood pressure. And we know that that doesn't exist, but it is absolutely generational. So it's generational, right? It is passed down. So I learned how to worry because my mom's a worrier. I learned how to depress because my mom's depressed. I learned how to cook sweet potatoes or candy yams with too much butter and sugar. And now I got sugar diabetes, just like my mom and my grandma, because I'm cooking just like they taught me how to cook. So it's passed down, it's generational. I got to put salt on everything before I even taste it. High blood pressure, just like my mom and my daddy and my grandma, right? So these things are generational. They're learned behaviors or things that are passed down.
So, last one is internalized oppression. People from marginalized groups often internalize racial stereotypes about their own group. Y'all, black people, y'all know we are some of the most quiet, judgmental people. And if you want to feel ugly, fat, or like a whore, attend 9 o'clock service at St. Tabernacle Church of God Christ. If you want to feel like a Jezebel, go on into that 9 o'clock service, baby. You gonna be judged regardless. But within the black community, this can show up in a number of different ways. So we have colorism. Y'all know we've done the paper bag test.
The light
We
versus the dark skins. Yeah.
light skin versus dark skin. Texturism. So you have 4C hair versus 3C hair or 3A hair. And then we have featureisms. Some of us have high cheekbones. Some of us have that Cabbage Patch Kid, Michael Jackson nose and ears. And, we have those. And they're built around oppressive beliefs that physical attributes that are closer to white are more acceptable. So the little cute button nose, the not so full lips. First of all, I cannot kiss something with some old paper thin lips. First of all, I think that you're trying to attack me and you talking shit low key under your breath if I can't see your lips move. I don't want to kiss nobody. That looks weird.
I cannot with you.
Nobody want to kiss that. And then on top of that, they love to hate on black people, but they love that BBC. They love to hate on black people, but they show love them big old booties that can move a mile per minute. I never understood that. How you gonna hate me, but you secretly want this dude? How you hate them, but you want to slap that ass from the back and see that ripple? Because you know damn well some of our translucent people, you hit their ass and you're gonna break that fourth vertebrae in their spine. You know that ain't right. That ain't right. So, where was I at? Our build around oppression believe. So presentable and beautiful. That is what you have to be. That is what society has perceived as acceptable. So internalized oppression can also show up in respectable politics. The belief that behaving in a certain way makes a person more valuable and more deserving of respect and dignity. And there is a pervasive and false belief that aligned with whiteness will shield you from racial harm. And y'all know that Oprah Winfrey and a few other people, baby, they were still victim to racial discrimination. And it's really interesting that people that begin making six figures will begin to disassociate themselves from blackness in order to ascend in society is one of the way that internalized oppression shows up. We see a trend of black figures, like I said, distance themselves from the black community through public statements. Y'all know we've all heard those public statements and affirmation only to realize that their status didn't even save them from racism. The remnants of that settler colonialism has deceived black people into thinking that the enemy is each other when it is actually everyone is harmed by the very same system. That's what I had.
All right.
Told you I came here to teach today, damn it.
Oh, Father. All right. So how do we help our people who have experienced something traumatic in their lives? Maybe they have not reached out to a counselor. Maybe they have gone to church, talked to the pastor. Maybe they've talked to family and they've talked to friends, but they still aren't at a place where they are or maybe I should say they're still at a place where they are constantly triggered and they have these very strong emotional responses. How do we help our people who maybe had a very traumatic childhood, right? Their parents, maybe the best role models at all, but they find themselves copying that same behavior because generational, right? You're gonna do
Mm-hmm.
things. You're gonna run to it or you're gonna run from it, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's your norm. You're either gonna repeat it because it's your norm and pass it on to your generation, or you're
That
gonna
part.
break it and run far from it. But those are effects of trauma as well. So how do we help our people who were told, no, that didn't happen to you, or
Mm-hmm.
why are you still crying about that? That happened 15, 20 years ago. Why are you still upset about it? How do we help our people?
So me personally, because I've began to really understand the trauma, and like you're trauma trained, so am I. Like we have two different models, but we're both trauma informed and trained. But the one thing that I've learned is trauma is gonna seek help. It's gonna seek help either internally or externally. And I think having someone who knows you and be like, look, what's going on? What's wrong with you? Trauma will listen to key phrases, key concepts, a certain feel, a certain atmosphere, and trauma will begin to make you talk. Look, I had a bad day because he did this. He grabbed my butt and it took me to this place. You didn't even intend on ever telling your friend of 12 years you may have been molested, but because they said those healing phrases, your trauma latched onto it because this is my way to begin to release. So I'm going to say, as a friend, a father, a mother, a brother, listen, listen, because some people, when you know that this ain't their norm, if you listen, you'll see their body, their trauma is calling out. So listen to your friends, listen to your family, ask those questions. I got friends, if they could have stubbed their toe, and I'd be like, you know how you just got pissed off? If you go to therapy, you'll feel better. I'm gonna throw it in there. I don't care. I know I get on their nerves, but I will throw in therapy anywhere I can just because I care and I can hear it and I know. So listen to your people. If you know what you're doing and you can direct them in a positive path, listen and help them. Don't use their trauma for your come up. That's foul, and karma will whoop that ass.
Karma will get you. That's terrible. I absolutely agree with that, co-host. I do believe that if you have experienced something traumatic in your life, you probably deserve a post-traumatic stress disorder diagnosis, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you probably absolutely need to go talk to a trained professional that can help you process through that trauma. You do not have to suffer in silence. You do not have to navigate this world alone. That's never okay to feel like you have to. There are
Mm-hmm.
resources out here. Psychologytoday.com. Psychologytoday.com is a great way to find a
Mm-hmm.
therapist in your area. And you can literally click and pick, like you're shopping, what you want your therapist to be and what qualifications you want them to have. Um,
Mm-hmm.
if you are still responding to things in life, and let's just say just your natural response to something is very anxious or worried or upset, immediately I'm upset about it. Ask yourself why am I responding to everything in an excitable way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look around, not everybody does that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
exact same thing can happen to you and can happen to me. But my response to it may be, your response may be, oh my gosh, that was horrible. This is, and I'm upset and you're frustrated and you're mad. And me, I'm like, I mean, it'll be okay, actually. Yeah, I mean, it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and move forward, one step in front of the other. The sky is still blue. So ask yourself
Mm-hmm.
why you are responding to things with such a strong emotional response. And do that self check-in, have that self-awareness for yourself to be able to say, why am I not cool and calm when something happens? Just,
Mm-hmm.
just because it's unfair. Um, those are triggers. Those are triggers. Anytime you feel a certain way strongly about something, it's triggering something that has happened to you. So
Mm-hmm.
think about that. Think about that. some of these headaches you're having, these stomach aches that you're having, these achy knees and ankles that you're having. My big toe has been. I think I hit it. I really
Hmm.
think I hit it. But just in case I didn't, Carl, I need to schedule a session, right? Because I've been having
Hmm.
stress in my body, and my big toe been hurting for a couple of days, and we need to work that out. So,
Gotcha.
although I think I did hit it, I'm still gonna check in with my mental health to make sure that it's not something that's manifesting in my body in a physical way. So yeah,
Amen.
yeah.
So look, I just want to add a caveat to that because I appreciate y'all. Y'all are staying with us and y'all are holding true. The words of wisdom that I provide to my clients. If you are experiencing something, and let's say it's been a week, that's fine. Allow yourself space and grace. Definitely allow yourself space and grace because that could just be something seasonal, just right there in the moment. Who you didn't bounce back the way you normally do because your kid ain't listening to you, school about to start. You went to the club and you bought one too many drinks, and then you think you took home somebody, but you ain't quite sure. Life happens. We have influential factors of life. So if that off feeling has been for about a week, allow yourself space and grace. 2 weeks and this feeling, I can't shake it. Like I want to say it's this, but I don't know. These would be those times that Sharon said, talk to yourself, do a self inventory. All right, look, because a lot of people say if you talking to yourself, you crazy. Now, what I will say, don't have this conversation with yourself while you in your cubicle or you at work or you walking down the street because somebody gonna think you crazy. That is not the time to have a self check in.
Time and
It's the
place.
time and the place. Now you in the shower and you like, bruh, I know that it's affecting me. Like something's wrong. I can't sleep. Jessica just said I can't sleep with the lights off. I sleep sitting up. That's a defense mechanism. That's not normal because we all need to hit a REM state, and that's your rapid eye movement state when you sleep. So that lets me know hearing that, Jessica, that your sleep hygiene is off. So 2 weeks hit, we're doing that self check in. Okay, cool. I'm gonna try some deep breathing. I'm gonna try this or that. But when you hit 3 weeks to a month, that might be the time that you want to look on psychologytoday.com. That might be a time that you want to reach out to a friend. And I would say by week 3, reach out to a friend. Just talk to somebody. See if they can make you feel better. Because oftentimes, if you talk to someone and they can be empathetic to what you're going through, because that's something that they experience, and they try to give you, hey, hit the blunt before you go to bed. It'll work. Cool. I was tripping. Okay. But now you started hitting the blunt. Now you taking a fifth of Henny to the head. See, now we're developing a pattern. And that's an adverse effect to what you really need. That's when I would say, go see a doctor. A lot of people think that when you drink wine because you had a stressful day or a week, that is a reward. Damn it. It is a reward that I am bust your ass in the forehead with a bottle. Kudos to me, drinks up. But when it becomes excessive, and now that drinking has caused me to have a DUI, that drinking done caused me to spend all my money unnecessarily. I'm not waking up on time for work. I'm smelling like liquor. And y'all, there is a distinct. I can tell if you've been drinking or if you're drunk, because when you're drunk and you continue that pattern, it starts to seep out your pores and you stink. Like it's almost the verge of death. That odor is not delectable. So
Apparently,
that's the time we.
my spidey sense is off when it comes to that.
Yeah, I can smell it. I can smell it, and it literally makes me want to vomit. So that's my word of wisdom to you guys. Give yourself a month and progress in that month. You're allowing yourself space and grace. You're having that internal conversation. You're reaching out to a trusted friend. Them 3 steps don't work. Damn it, go to psychologytoday.com because that means that your support system and your internal support, it ain't aligned. It's not allowing you to get over whatever that is because you don't know. So now you need to go to someone that can help you know what's going on.
Yeah. I would actually encourage you to act a little quicker, because if we tell you a month, you gonna stretch that to 2 months. And within like 2 weeks to 6 months, I can diagnose you, right? For some, it's early.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say, push that up a little bit. So a week, I like to give yourself space and grace. Okay. If you're not back to normal functioning, okay, now let's do some self-check-in, some self-awareness. Yeah. But by the end of the month, you need to be calling somebody.
That part. That's why I said give yourself 4 weeks, because
A
I'm not
professional, right?
stupid. A professional. Yes, but we're not
Your
stupid. We know
friend,
life stressors.
talk to your friend. Yeah, talk to your friends between week 1 and week 2. Talk to somebody.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay. You do the week 2. Okay. I was saying week two
week
to
one,
three.
2. After a couple of days and you feeling off, it's probably time to talk to the bestie, because they're gonna help you kind of sort through some things.
But sometimes we don't even feel it. Sometimes we don't even know that we're off.
From when you feel it, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I was saying give yourself that week, because by Wednesday, you like, man, I haven't been feeling too good. Like,
Like
okay, like and
3 days.
yeah, you have to know yourself.
My toe still hurting. Yeah.
All
And
right,
I'm
so what's your takeaway?
my takeaway is, we have to stop being scared to advocate for ourselves. We have to stop being scared to talk to somebody about our problems. We have to stop being scared to get in other people's business. Because, for example, Jessica, if you were my roommate and I noticed every night when I know you should be asleep, I pass by your door and your light is on, then I'm going to think, okay, why is her light always on when I know she should be asleep? Is she scared of the
Mm-hmm.
dark? I'm going to ask you some questions.
Yeah.
Do you need a night light? What can I do to support you? Well, I'm going to ask you some questions, So whenever we even see these things in our family and our friends, we want to say something. We want to ask questions. That way we can support each other, and then also advocate for yourself. Something ain't right with you. You do not have to suffer in silence and go through whatever you're going through alone. We are unbiased. I don't know you from
Mm-hmm.
Sam. I don't know your situation. I don't know nobody else that know you. And even if I do down the line or whatever, because sometimes I might know somebody that knows somebody. I am bound legally to confidentiality. I can't say a word and absolutely won't say a word. That goes against our
Period.
standards. You are talking to a person that's not going to judge you. I have heard, especially with my military people, the trauma they experience is incredible. And some of the things that you hear, I'm actually desensitized at this point, but to other people, it would be mind blowing, and we hear these situations. We still know exactly what to say and how to get you the help that you need. There's nothing that you're going to tell us that's going to make me look at you in a way that's going to be uncomfortable for you or make you feel judged. Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
A conversation with a therapist is fair game. You can tell
Yep.
me everything you did before you was 25. Right? Who was that before you was 25? You can tell me everything you have done,
Mm.
and I'm not going to look at you in any kind of way. But what I am going to do is I'm going to help you figure out all those things that happened before you were 25, how they're affecting you now at 45.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I making these bad decisions? Why am I always in a bad situation? Why do these things always happen to me? Why am I experiencing these repetitive patterns? Why
Mm-hmm.
I always find the man that always does me wrong, right? We're going to dig in that background. We're going to dig into your past, and we're going to figure that out for you. On the other
Mm-hmm.
side of these conversations is healing, normal functioning, no more dysfunctional lifestyle and lifestyle choices. You'll become a fully whole person.
I
That's
agree. That's beautiful. So look, Jessica, I don't want you to think that we ain't listening. A year and a half, that's way too long. That lets me know that you are having negative thoughts. And at some point within that year and a half, you may have listened and agreed to some of those negative thoughts. So I would definitely recommend, speaking to someone. Alcohol is fine in moderation. I am a firm believer in that. But I can tell you, I have been at my lowest and in my darkest, and the answer was not at the bottle of the Jim Beam or the Jack Daniels or the Sacred Gin or that Four Loco, wine bottles. The answer was never there. I thought it was. It challenged me every time I cracked open the bottle. I knew the answer was going to be at the bottom of that bottle. But let me let you know, it's not there. You definitely got to talk to somebody. And you said
another thing about substance use, right? So alcohol and drugs, that's self-medication. We do those things because we don't want to feel. I don't want to feel right now. I just want to get a sense of happiness, a sense of peace. We know we get that high, that temporary high, whenever we do alcohol and drugs. Depending on the alcohol or the drug, well, alcohol, it's a depressant, you're going to get that high, but then you're going to crash, right? So, yeah, self-medicating is another symptom of trauma.
Mm-hmm. And then you also put on here, I put a show on, nobody gets to see me like that, shaking my head. That's a defense mechanism. Because if I can put Maybelline over the scars, if I can put a pretty smile over the pain, you won't know. But someone like me, game recognized game. I know pain. I know trauma. I know love. I know joy. I know happiness. I know sorrow. So someone with real insight and that ability to be empathetic and have those intuitions, they're going to be able to see behind that facade. And then you said on here, I feel like he's coming. I need to be ready. He told me he like a black cat in the night. Again, that's trauma. That's hypervigilance. You have to stay ready. You're literally causing more stress on your body because your organs are working harder than it has to. Your body is never getting a moments of rest because you're always on pins and needles that cause elevated blood pressure, which can lead to strokes, heart attacks, all of that. So I would definitely continue to encourage you like I have. I'll never see him, but he always sees me. Girl,
this is what people who prey on us, these are the things that they say to us. And then we begin to believe that these things are true. Yeah. So if we have a predator type situation where someone is threatening to harm us, that's trauma. That is trauma. So that person needs to be dealt with legally, but then we need to be dealt with in our mental health because they have caused us trauma.
Yep. So that is it for tonight's show. Thank you for allowing us to stay 18 minutes and 47 seconds later than normal, but this was near and dear to me. And I know Sharon, it was near and dear to Sharon. She may not say it. She be trying to act like she a hard ass, but she really be caring, y'all.
This is one of the things that people don't talk about a lot. The word narcissist is just trending, and I can't wait for it to go away. But everybody wants to talk about the narcissist and stuff, right? But nobody wants to talk about the trauma. So this is a topic that we need to talk about: trauma, domestic violence, abuse.
That might be the next one we need to talk about. Wait, nope, I already have one. I'm going to do my final follow-up for the I just can't wait to be a king.
Yes. Look, wait on your Mufasa. Okay. Carl's going to tell us all about that. And I think, 2 weeks, maybe 3? We're going to have to talk about that.
See, Sharon over here, it's going to be in 2 weeks, y'all. Sharon going to tighten up.
I got a conference. I will already be out of town. So we'll talk about it. We'll figure it out.
See, I'm going to get on her, y'all. Don't even trip. Stay tuned. I'm going to get on her. But it's been a pleasure. Y'all already know what it is. Tune in next time. Follow us on Facebook. Instagram, TikTok, all of that. And make sure y'all like, comment, share, subscribe. Stop being stingy. Y'all know you got 4 bald-headed friends with no edges. 6 homeboys with 12 children amongst 2 women that needed to hear about this trauma. But you was over here being stingy. And it's okay. Sometimes you need to heal yourself first. But after watching this video, share it, comment, tell a friend, please. And with that being said, we will tune in, catch us next time on the same black show with the same black host, and we'll holla at you then.
Peace.
Peace.
Welcome to the truth. Welcome to the truth. Welcome to the truth, where the truth don't lie. 3 T's, no lie.
Thank you. Tune in next week. Same black channel, same black host, and we'll holla at you at the same black time.